should we praise the man who is just undroppable at the moment, and that is this man?
Vaclav Smooth.
No, that is not.
What's that?
No.
Vaclav Hladky.
That's the one. Don't know what
Did I call him Vaclav Smooth?
That was the translation for Slovakian to English, but he's not Slovakian. He's Czech. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. But shall we talk about him though, boys? Because he had to make some super saves. Stu.
Why don't you just call him Vaclav Smooth now from now on? I mean, it was a smooth performance. So I don't know if that's a clunky segue into this, but isn't it amazing that only a few weeks ago we were talking about, it's a good big decision here. What would you do? Let's start making a vote as whether Walton comes back in or whether Vaz keeps his place. That's not even up for debate now, is it? He has been Ipswich's probably over the piece, Ipswich's best player. If you were sort of doing a player of the season vote right now, let's not gloss over the ball at feet part of this as well. He's clipping passes into fullbacks. He's doing all that great stuff with the ball at his feet, which we shouldn't take for granted. We sometimes overlook that I think he's improved aerially as well. There were some nice strong punches through traffic. And dealt with some of that side of things, and then to cap it off, big saves at big moments. After Ipswich had gone 2-1 up, Plymouth really came at Ipswich in those latter stages, and several good saves. The highlight of which was two, really. One's a one-handed stop from a firm back post, Dan Scar towering header back across goal at a corner, and he goes with sort of not his wrong hand, but his hand over the top to sort of claw the ball away. That was a really good save. And then moments later, ball deflects nicely into the path of Joe Edwards in the box after Plymouth had cut Ipswich open, and quick off his line, stays big, almost Schmeichel-esque to kind of that starfish shape. Turns his knee inside and keeps the ball out with his legs, and got a standing ovation, rightly so. He has contributed to a significant number of these points that Ipswich have got on the board this season.
Yeah, Mr. Smooth. That's his new name then, AJ. I know we talk about it. I feel like it's every week. There's a segment now on Vaz because he just brings up these saves week in, week out. And he's as Stu said, he's saved us a lot of points this season.
I think he's been the best goalkeeper in the Championship so far this season. I think that might be high praise, but you look at the stat that's going to define that is going to be goals prevented. He was top of the division going into the international break. Obviously, I think it's Hermansen who was kind of up with him, but still away behind. I hadn't checked recently to see what the numbers are there. Look at the Joe Edwards shot that Stu mentioned that had an XG of 0.69. That is absolutely huge in terms of how likely that was going to be to go into the back of the net. So add that on to what he's already done, and he's absolutely saving Town's bacon here. And I think there maybe is a side to that where you think, wow, if you've got to think maybe towards the defensive side, he probably needs a little bit more cover as well. With goals flying in at Portman Road, and he's still making these kind of defining saves. We've obviously spoken about the goals that have been let in at Portman Road as potentially a bit of a concern. If he can have a little bit more cover, then I think that Town can become a really strong defensive side, because you've then got a goalkeeper can, when called upon, prevent almost definite goals, while also having the players in front of him that can just kind of limit the opportunities there. It all seems to fall into place, and he's been absolutely excellent so far. There's no doubting that he's, in terms of individual action, he's been the biggest reason as to why Town are where they are in the league.